Hey, everyone. Welcome to the latest podcast episode. This is your host, Terry Knight, and I have a treat today. I think this is a very unique guest. I'm coming to share a story about buying stuff internationally, getting your second residency, and just traveling all over. This is Lettuce Floss Maurice. This man is an expert. I'm going to deep dive into this concept because I really think it's cool and that anyone can do. So thank you so much for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Real pleasure, Terry.
So first and foremost, man, let people know who Lettuce Floss is, man, and we'll go from there.
Sure, a little bit of background. Went to college in Canada, then went to business and law school in Australia. Started off an expat career in Nestle, the big food company in Switzerland.
Oh,
Then they
nice.
sent me to Africa for 7 years. So I was in South Africa for 4 years and then Ghana for 3 years. And my last role in Ghana in corporate was being in charge of the dairy business for a few West African countries. So Ghana, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. And that was until the age of 30, which point I decided that, hey, I spent most of my 20s in Africa and with one single company, let me try something else. So I left, but before looking for a new job, I decided to go on a big road trip because my parents were retiring at the same time. So we drove our car from Oman in the Middle East near Dubai to Paris by car. So we put the car on the ferry. We drove all around Iran, went into Armenia, Georgia, Turkey, went down into Greece, up to Ukraine, and then to Paris. And it was the first time that I had two things at the same time. Time, because when you're young, you don't really have time, and money. I had time and money. And usually it's the other. It's rare to have both in life, time and money. So I took my time. So whenever we'd arrive in these new cities, I'd, just look at the real estate market. I'd go out in the evenings, meet people, get people talking. And then I started gradually doing some real estate deals on the way.
That's good,
And then
man.
I just never got back to sending CVs. And now it's been almost a decade where I travel around the world full time and I manage my own money. I invest in a lot of emerging and frontier market real estate. I invest in stocks as well, but a lot of real estate in emerging and frontier markets. And I've been documenting this journey for about 5-6 years now on The Wandering Investor.
Cool, man. I like that summary, man. Right to it. Wow, man. First and foremost, you say you work for Nestle, the company? Nestle Quick, like, the whole milk thing?
Pure Life, all that. Yeah. Nestle Ice Cream in South Africa. I was working for Nestle Ice Cream. I was a brand manager for ice cream.
So I know this is off subject, man. I find that so curious. Like, what the heck did you learn working as a brand manager at that time?
So I'd say a lot of learnings came. Okay, so one, just fundamental long-term brand building. Nestle is one of the best brand building companies out there. So I got best in class everyday experience and learnings in marketing. But I think what really I found most interesting was when I was in charge of a business in Ghana, because we were operating in a very data poor environment. When you're in Africa, there's very little data out there. South Africa is different. It's more of a developed market in many respects. But when you go into a place like Ghana, you end up having to make big decisions, big business decisions, big business decisions based on your gut feelings. You throw there are a few focus groups, and and then you just kind of wing it. And so it's very different from if I had been working for Nestle in the US, for example, which is extremely data driven, and it's, all stats and data and this and that. And there it was just chaos all the time. And we were working in an environment where inflation was running hot, like really hot. At some point, the country ran out of dollars and there was no more gas and oil for a few days.
Oh my
And we were
goodness.
having price increases every like twice a week. So we had to rerun all the P&Ls for the business, and you're running blind. You're running blind because you have no clue what the currency's doing. So it was really rough, but it was fantastic learning.
Yeah, you're just riding it blindly, man. Oh my goodness. That sounds very stressful. Oh my gosh. Well, how long were you in Ghana for?
3 years.
3 years. What's the big take from Africa you learned? Because you mentioned South Africa is more developed, right, than Ghana and these different parts. But what was something you learned there that's different from the States or any other place you've been to?
In terms of, I think that from a business point of view, just learning to operate without data and by through your intuition and gut feeling, operating
Mhm.
in a less scientific way. And two, I think also Africa is an opportunity. Look, the world is in great demographic decline. People are just not having kids anymore. And that's pretty much everywhere in the world. I mean, Latin America, below fertility rate, East Asia, quite obviously below fertility rate. Now, a lot of places in Southeast Asia as well. I mean, Thailand is really aging. Even South Asia now. A lot of South Asia is below fertility rate. And Europe, let's not even talk about it. Where is the future demographic growth going to come from? Africa, mostly Africa. Even the Middle East, they're getting in a lot of these countries, they're either too comfortable and having less kids, or life is too stressful and having less kids. So I'm increasingly investing in Africa on the continent, not just real estate, but also stocks, but a lot of real estate, because I see it as a really true diversification compared to my Western portfolio, because all the catalysts, all the drivers are completely different from what we have in the West. I get to invest in cities that will probably double in size by 2050, 2060. I'm buying in at really cheap valuations. I mean, I bought some in Nairobi in Kenya, the capital. I recently bought a few apartments, and I'm looking at $110 per square foot for prime real estate in the best neighborhood with like indoor heated swimming pool, the whole deal. $110 per square foot in the best neighborhood. In a few weeks, I'm going to go to the coast in Kenya. I'm probably going to buy one or two apartments. Frontline, about $160 a square meter. Frontline, amazing white sand beaches, 3 swimming pools, like whole resort right on the beach. So I see this. I mean, there's development risk, obviously, because it's pre-construction. And why are they selling cheap? Well, because they need the money, because financing is hard, right? So
Mhm.
there's an element of risk. But that's also what I like, is that when I buy real estate in these markets, I'm buying real estate.
Mhm.
When I buy real estate in the US, in Canada, in Europe, I'm buying part hard asset, part financial asset.
Right.
I mean, we all know that real estate prices are so, especially in the US, are so dependent on interest rates. In a lot of Africa, interest rates are high by name, like are high. They're 10 to 15%. So no one's really borrowing to buy real estate. So when you're buying real estate, you're buying real estate. You're not buying a financial asset. So again, as diversification, I like it.
Yeah, I've been hearing about Africa a lot, Kenya, all those different places. It's funny that you're mentioning that, but like the coast that you're buying these apartments from, like how much US dollars are we talking you can invest?
So a
Like,
1 bedroom apartment in a like nice resort with swimming pools, restaurants, paddle court, the whole deal, like half an hour away from an airport, um, is about $100,000, and a 2 bedroom. But that's like pool facing. You'll still have a sea view, partial sea view, and pool facing. But if you want full frontal 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 200K roughly.
gotcha. Now, when you're buying this real estate out there or anywhere, are you leasing them, renting them out, or what's your game plan?
Yeah. So
How
for
does that
these,
work?
I'm definitely going to wait until they're built. Expecting, I mean, again, this is like just not financial advice or anything. I'm expecting 30% capital gains over 2 years, 30-40% roughly. And then net rental yields based on my purchase price, approximate before taxes, approximately 10 to 13% a year, which is
Gotcha.
hard to get in the US these
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
Very hard to
yeah.
get. But it's not risk free. Let's be honest here.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, I guess my take is on it. Like, I never thought internationally. I mean, I've thought of it at one point, but then people probably get like very intimidated or scared to buy real estate internationally. Like, what's your take on that? And what's the process? Because I know it's a lot probably because you got to go there and kind of.
So I'd say that for 95% of people, they shouldn't really venture overseas, 90%. I think venturing overseas starts to make sense either for when you just want it for lifestyle purposes, but if it's purely for investment, you need to be worth a certain amount for it to make more sense. Because as soon as you venture overseas, you do not have access to leverage. You do not have access to mortgages. It's a cash game, and most people are not ready for that. So generally, my advice to private clients is, if you don't, if you just have a few $100,000 in your savings, etc., unless you're an immigrant and you want to invest back home, and it makes sense, like you have the network, all that. Generally speaking, America still is one of the best places in the world to make money, especially with the use of credit and all of that, as long as you do it reasonably. And then once you're worth, seven figures, then you can start saying, okay, cool, I'm going to take like 20%, shave 20% off, and start diversifying internationally. But
Hmm.
until then, I'd say just focus on making money in the US. Money is easier to come by in the US. It's operationally a lot easier as well. You get better property management, you get better all of that. Like, there's a lot more talent to be able to help
Hmm.
you. You can literally go into any town in the US, invest, and there'll be a competent property.
Right. That
In
is
a lot of
true.
countries, like, I can't say this for a lot of countries. A lot of countries, it's not the case at all. So I would just take a tiered approach. First, make money back home, then you can start diversifying internationally. And as for being worried about going overseas, I would say just get a good lawyer. That's it. Just get a good
Yeah.
lawyer. Don't get a cheap lawyer. Get a good lawyer that understands foreigners. Because, for example, if I'm not a US person, if I were to invest in the US right now in real estate, as I have in the past, my issues are not the same as your issues.
Hmm.
But if I just go to your normal lawyer guy, or your normal CPA, he won't understand my issues as a non-resident alien. I'll
Hmm.
need different structuring. I'll need a different approach. I need to file different forms, all these things. He might not know that. I'll still be able to buy the way you're buying, but then the consequences from a tax point of view will be hell. But he doesn't know any better. So you
Right.
want to go with lawyers and accountants that understand non-residents investing in their jurisdiction. So there's always a cheaper lawyer,
Yeah.
but you want a lawyer that's right for you. So as long as you have that, then you're fine. I've invested everywhere. I mean, I've invested in Latin America, Eastern Europe, the Balkans, the Middle East, East Africa, West Africa, recently on some like islands in Southeast Asia. I've never really come across major issues. Why? Because I hire
You
competent
hire.
lawyers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's pretty cool, man. You mentioned you're everywhere. Latin America sticks out to me as well. What part of Latin America? Colombia?
Yeah, I'm invested in Colombia. Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, Colombia, Mexico, Ecuador. Yeah. Colombia's a good one. Americans love going to Colombia.
Hmm.
Medellin as a city is really growing, very well connected. Real estate has gone up. It's still relatively affordable, but it's gone up. And rental yields, when I first started going there about 4 or 5 years ago, you could get easily 10% net rental yields. Now you're more around the 7% mark before income tax. So it's still better than in the US, but it's not as good as it used to be. Again, the destination has been a bit de-risked because now Medellin is clearly a destination. Back then it was just up and coming. Now it's, everyone knows about Medellin.
Right. That's true. How many properties you have in Medellin or Colombia as a whole?
In Colombia, just one. I
Just
bought
one
a just one big penthouse with like,
penthouse.
yeah, 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms,
What?
jacuzzi, big workspace, all of that. Yeah.
How much was that? You don't mind me asking?
It wasn't that much. It wasn't that much. I got a good deal. I was there for a while. All in, I did a 1 year long renovation, like a complete gut job. All in, $305 for about 2,600 square feet.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It
not
was a
bad.
good deal. Yeah. No, it was a good
Yeah.
deal. You won't find that good a deal, but you can still find good deals. If you go for larger units,
Hmm.
which is what I recommend in places like Medellin, go for like large units, 3, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, because again, it's a cash market. A lot of people have money to buy a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom. But few people have 500, 600, 700,000 to put. But that's actually where you get better rental returns because no one can leverage to that level
Gotcha.
unless people have the cash.
Huh. That makes sense. Oh, that's so cool. My next question would be like, how I think it's everyone's dream to want to travel and be on your own terms and make money. How are you able to get to that point as of today? Like, is it your portfolio helping you with that? Is it your other companies? Like, what exactly are you doing to help with the lifestyle you're living with your family, man, your wife and two kids?
So initially, it was just my savings from Nestle. I had saved up decent money because I was on a Swiss contract, expat in Africa, danger pay, blah 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 blah. Saved, made some good investments. So when I left at the age of 30, I was actually comfortable. I could just live off my savings, and that's off my investments rather. That's what I'm doing still. I'm just living off my own money. But now I also have this company, the Wandering Investor, helping people invest, obtain second residencies, buy second citizenships, that sort of stuff. So now it's, my own money and then the business.
Gotcha. That's really cool. How do you get the second residency, man? If you're in the US and you want to just go abroad like you're doing, man, like what's that whole process?
Look, I mean, it's an immigration process, so it's not to be taken, lightly. You're immigrating somewhere. There are two types of residencies. There's the residency where you buy and you have to move there to be able to renew it. So, you move to Spain and then you have to stay there because when your card expires in 2 years, they'll want to see how long you spent in the country. And if you haven't spent enough time, it expires. But then there are more Plan B residencies that stay active even if you don't live there. And those are the ones that our clients are typically interested in. So let's say you're sitting in the US, you don't like the direction of the US, you feel that there's increasingly friction within society in the US, and you feel that it's not entirely unreasonable to have a plan B for yourself and your family in case people were going to become even more angry and start acting on it. So for if you're part of if you're a person like this, then it's where can I go? Uh, so there are programs in Europe, golden visas and stuff. You can move to Greece or get a residency permit in Greece and in Portugal and Hungary. They're a few $100,000 each. But closer to home for American people, the easiest ones are Mexico, Panama, and Paraguay. So Mexico, you just need to demonstrate that you earn about $4,500 a month, or that you have about $70,000 of savings in your bank account or in your brokerage account for the past year, and you're in. They'll give you temporary residency, and you'll just need to go there essentially 2, 3 times in 4 years, and then you'll get permanent residency, which is valid for life. So we help with that one. The second one is Panama. Panama is a favorite because it's very easy. You either invest 200,000 in real estate or in a term deposit for 3 years, and then they'll give you temporary residency. You'll just need to go there 3 times in 2.5 years, and then it'll turn into permanent residency. And once you have permanent residency, you just need to set foot there for 24 hours every 2 years and you keep it active. So just by shifting, literally, just by shifting $200,000 from your Chase account or your, Wells Fargo savings account to a bank in Panama, locking it in for 3 years at an interest rate of around 4%, you get a plan B for you and your whole family. And then after 3 years, you get the money back and you can just send it back home, whatever.
Oh, wow.
So
You get the money
yeah,
back?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not a donation. It's a term deposit for 3 years. That's it. It's
Jeez.
great. Or you can create a company and hire yourself in Panama. And also after 3 years, you get permanent residency. So, and Panama is from a tax point of view is nice. It's a territorial tax system, though for US people, it's not as beneficial, but still you can benefit from the foreign earned income exclusion if you were to move to Panama. And yeah, it's just a tier A jurisdiction. And then in the end, the bottom of Latin America, South America rather, there is Paraguay. There, it's literally just show up with your passport, a few documents, an agent, a few $1,000s, and you'll get residency. 3 trips in 2.5 years, after which you get permanent residency. And then you just need to set foot there for 24 hours once every 3 years to keep it active. In Paraguay, low tax, super affordable, a lot of growth. It's, far from everything, far from war, far from all the troubles, far from drama. So these are the top three favorite plan Bs for Americans right now. And then the European options, but they come at a higher budget.
Right. You mentioned Panama, right? I think I read somewhere, not read, I've seen online. There's this one guy, I forgot his name. His name is James. He does all sorts of stuff online. They built like a mega mansion house from scratch, like on the beach side of it, the coastal. Is it cheaper to build a house from scratch out there? Like, what's your take out in that market for real estate?
Yeah, it's pretty affordable. But actually, in terms of building costs, the US is amongst one of the most affordable markets out there to build homes compared to Europe. And because you guys build using wood and stuff, that's a lot cheaper than the way most people in the world build. So, in terms of build costs, the US is actually quite competitive. You have used cheaper materials, and you have a lot of illegal labor that's actually quite cheap. So, build costs are low in the US, in
Okay.
much of the US, rather.
Much of the US. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. Three options for residencies. You're all over the place, man. Like, how do you manage your wife and two kids? Like, you're abroad, man. Like, are you always traveling? Are you traveling with the family? Are you doing both? Like, how's your schedule looking?
We're travel a lot together. Like right now, I was just for 2 weeks going to different European countries. I was on my own. In 2 weeks, I'm going to Africa for 1 month. I'll be on my own on that one. But then for 5 months, we're doing a round the world trip with my wife and two kids. So my daughter is 3, my son is 4 months, and we're gonna go, yeah, to China. We're gonna go to Cambodia. We're gonna go to the Philippines. We're gonna go to California, then down to Argentina, Paraguay, and then back to Europe. So literally around the world trip in 5 months.
Oh my gosh, that's a dream, man. That's pretty cool, man. Wow.
My daughter took 25 flights and 25 international flights in her first year.
What? My goodness. How was that? I mean,
It was all
traveling
right.
with kids is tough, but geez,
She's good. She knows how to
she's
behave.
good.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh my goodness, man. You mentioned you're staying 1 month in Africa next month. Like, what's your plan? Because you're gonna be solo. Like, what's your game plan?
Yeah. So I'll be for about 2.5 weeks in Kenya to follow up on some of the construction that's going on there that I have going on. I bought a few apartments in Nairobi, and then I'm going to go check out that new development on the coast that I'm really interested in. So I'm going to go there. I mean, my lawyer's already doing all the due diligence from the paperwork point of view, but I want to go on site and just see, make sure there are no like red flags on site. And then I'm going to Sierra Leone as well in West Africa because we're licensed agents for the Sierra Leone Citizenship by Investment Program. So Sierra Leone, the tiny West African country right next to Liberia, sells its citizenship. So you make a donation and you will obtain citizenship. So, you get naturalized as a Sierra Leonean, you get a passport, you can use it to travel, and then it goes down the generations. Your kids can then also have it. So the price is $140,000 for the main applicant and then $10,000 per dependent. But if you can demonstrate through a DNA test that you're of African descent, then it's $100,000 for the main applicant and then still $10,000 per dependent. And then the cool thing about this is that it gives you Sierra Leone as part of ECOWAS, and ECOWAS is an organization in West Africa, which means that when you are a citizen of an ECOWAS country, you can settle very easily in other countries. So with a Sierra Leonean passport, you can then settle in Ghana easily, in Gambia, in Nigeria, or in the Francophone countries like Senegal, Ivory Coast. Um, or travel there just visa free, or actually get residency and live in those countries. So we have clients in that have like large family offices and that want to give their descendants access to West Africa just as part of
Hmm.
their portfolio. They just, they'll throw like $200,000, one main applicant, then everyone else around gets a passport, and then it'll just go down the generations. When they have kids, they'll be able to get them the passport as well. And then we have also clients, typically African Americans, that want to reconnect and that want to get a citizenship from, back in Africa.
Okay. Wow, man, that's cool. How many residencies do you have? Like, have you been collecting yourself, or are you just visiting?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about having residencies and passports is also you don't want to disclose them all, right?
Oh, true, true, true. But you
Or
have
also,
more than one though. You have a couple. Okay,
yeah, I have a
gotcha.
number. Yeah,
All
number
right,
of
that's cool.
citizenships, number of residencies.
Okay.
If you want to see my disclosure, you can ask for my US visa. There it's all disclosed.
Yeah, yeah.
On YouTube, I won't disclose everything.
But that's cool, man. Like you have a whole list of them, and it just shows you're just building your whole empire, man. That's really cool. You mentioned, which was interesting, you're traveling around the world for 5 months with your kids and a wife. Are you going to teach your kids anything while they're traveling? So any kind of education?
I think travel will be the education.
Yeah, exactly.
Look,
That's what I was thinking. But
my 3-year-old daughter is still too young for school. I mean, school
great,
will start at, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something. I
something
forgot.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, right? I need to, need to follow up on that. But yeah, so for now, no need to stress. She'll be traveling. She'll be learning about the world,
Different
spending time with her
cultures.
parents.
Yeah,
It'll be good.
that's cool, man. And I mean, you kind of just summed up what you're doing for the next 5, 6 months. Let's talk about the wandering investor, man. You mentioned that you help people get residencies and look for real estate. Like, how can someone reach out to you? Like, what's the best way?
Sure. So what we help people ultimately is internationalize and diversify. We're not telling people invest with us, you'll get rich. It's rather for people who have reached a certain point and they think, okay, I'm all in the US, I'm all in Canada. That's a little unreasonable. Maybe I should start diversifying internationally. So that's what we help with. And then so that means, yeah, real estate, stocks, residencies, second passports, that sort of stuff. So we have a newsletter, Notes from the Road, on The Wandering Investor. So that's the wanderinginvestor.com. That's the best way to reach is the newsletter. But we're also present on YouTube, Instagram, the whole deal, on most social media.
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll have the notes and the links below for that. What do you want to teach your kids, man? Because one is four. I mean, yeah, one is 3 years old and the other one's 4 months old. What do you want to teach them, man, about life, about being successful like you are, building businesses, stuff like that? What do you want to pass on so they can pass on to their kids?
One, Christian values. That's the most important aspect. Number two is skepticism and distrust of government. And number three is the love of freedom.
Love of freedom. Okay, yeah, I like all three of those. Just kind of curious on the first one. You said Christian values. Like, what
Mhm.
exactly
I'm
would you want
Catholic.
to Catholic? But what exactly do you want to pass on from that aspect to let them know?
Well, this is starting to be deep. Look, I mean, just being a good Catholic,
Mhm.
going to mass, sticking with the tradition, understanding, where we're from, and that, we can't ignore that aspect of our lives because I am where I am, thanks to my values and thanks to my family's values, thanks to my ancestors' values.
Gotcha. Cool. And one thing that stuck out to me, which I think we're all kind of, you know, thinking of all sorts of things, but distrust of the government. Like, what's your take? What's your take on that? Like, nothing like really bad like that, but like, what do you want them to be very like vigilant on and be cautious about growing up dealing with
Don't
this
trust the
type of stuff?
government. Don't trust the government. I mean, I'm not saying that the government's always bad, but just, each time the government says you should do something, just question it. Question it. Because I
I
mean,
like,
government itself is fine, but who's the one running government, and it's no matter what party and etc. It's usually very power hungry people that don't necessarily have your best interest at heart.
right. So you should
And that's
always
valid.
take care of yourself
That's valid across time and across culture.
all across the world, different governments. Yeah. Totally agree, man. So, look, man, you had an interesting like career background, Nestle in the beginning. You got the wandering investor. You're buying real estate all across the globe. What keeps you going every day when you want to give up, man? Like whether it's beginning of your journey, career, or even now.
I don't want
What
to
keeps
give
you going?
up. I'd never have that thought.
Well, that's good. That's good. But what keeps you going though? What keeps you going to have that hunger to keep going step by step, man? Like you
I'm
got all
having
this
fun.
stuff planned out.
That's fun. Life is fun. Life is a game. Life is fun. Just look at the positive sides. Just that's it.
I like that part. You always gotta have fun. But like when look, man, you're just building nonstop. Like what's your end goal, man? Like do you want to retire at a certain age? Like what's the end goal for you?
And you're thinking too far ahead here.
Well, you gotta have a plan, right? 10 years from now, 15, like you must you wanna
No,
keep going?
there's no plan. Look at how crazy the world is. Look at
That's true.
how insane the world has been in the past 5 years. Do you think
Yeah.
I can plan 20 years ahead?
No, no, definitely not.
Just be with your loved ones. Try to do what you love. Make sure that what you love is somewhat lucrative.
Mhm.
And if you manage to tick all those boxes, you're doing well. Continue.
I love that, man. I love that. Do you have, social media websites or links that people can, visit you, follow your journey, man? Because it's very
Yeah.
unique and cool?
The Wandering Investor on Instagram, on YouTube, on the website as well. X, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's all there.
All that there. Okay.
Telegram.
Telegram. Well, guys, you heard it first, man. The great Mr. Maurice here. I appreciate you for coming on, man. I think you can help a lot of people get their residencies, look for real estate, man, or even do stocks. You're definitely someone that people can learn from, man. So I appreciate you for coming on and sharing your journey.
Thank you, Terry.
All right, everyone. Until next episode. Peace out.